Dzień dobry, ja się nazywam Rafael Grieger i witam Was w naszym programie The Culture of Total Beauty, Labioaesthetics, Kinograma, tutaj w fabryce na Lublinie. Dzisiaj moim gościem jest jeden najwięcej zdolnych, ale też tak samo sympatycznych stylistów, fryzjerów ja znam. Bardzo się cieszę na naszą rozmowę z Theo Dimitri z Australii, który akurat teraz też mieszka w Niemczech. On jest edukatorem, fryzjerem, stylistą w salonie i na pokazach backstage. I jeżeli wy jesteście fryzjerem lub klientem, kobietą, które kochają piękne stylizacje i chcecie się trochę nowego dowiedzieć, to zapraszam Was do naszego oglądania, bo dzisiaj będziemy też na żywo stylizować włosy. Theo, it's good to have you.
I didn't understand everything, but that was quite an introduction, so thanks.
Yeah, it was a very long introduction because you have such a vita and I'm happy that you are here. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be here. It is a pleasure. Warsaw is one of my new favorite cities in the world.
It is. It's always a surprise for everybody who comes here for the first time.
And even the second time, the third time, it gets even better.
I know, I experience the same. So today we prepared something very special. We will do hair live, but first we want to talk. Would like to talk about a little bit about your career and why are you here? And what I was telling the people that you are a hairdresser, but you work a lot backstage. You know how to do hair.
I've had I would say a very interesting career. I'm now 21 years in the job. I started at school. So after school, I would go and clean the floors, sweep the hair, wash the clients, do the dishes. And that's where it kind of started. I will be honest, I did start because there was a lot of beautiful women at my job when I would go. And then it just became really like an obsession. I saw what I could do with the hair. I could see how I made people feel. And then, of course, giving them confidence, giving them, I guess, a new version of themselves made me feel also very, very whole, very, very humble, but also very necessary, you know, to give this feeling to people. And I think that's only gotten stronger with the way the world is. Hairdressing is one of the only jobs where immediate contact is normal. If I'm an accountant or a lawyer and I'm touching you, that's very strange. So having that power, being able to make people the best version of themselves, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for.
So let's unpack it. It was a lot of information. So you learned to be a hairdresser in Australia.
Of course, yeah.
And actually I was thinking about it, like all the hairdressers I know who has now very big careers, they always say how they were like mopping the floor and collecting the hair. So it's actually the hard work at the beginning and the not nice work makes the good hairdresser later on, maybe.
I think it's very true. And I think one thing I've noticed, I'll go back to me in a second, but with the new generation, I can't speak for everyone, especially the Polish people, but I found in general, in Australia, I'm based in Germany at the moment, but the younger generation, they kind of want to run before they crawl. Like those years cleaning, getting in touch with the clients, giving them the best hair washing shampoo. One of my aunties said, if you can do a good head massage, you will have a client forever. So watching that, making sure I mastered that skill first, and then quickly moving on to, you know, the techniques and practicing. It's kind of like if you go to university, you do your lecture, and then you go home and you have to study if you want to master the skill, where I think a lot of the young generation, they want to just learn the skill. Okay, I know it now, without going home and practicing even for an hour a week, you know, and that's that small difference from doing the hard work and watching. I'm very observant. We're observant learners when you're a hairdresser, I feel. So the more you watch, the more you absorb, the more you can practice, and then you take that into your own bag of tools and you make your version of a hairdresser.
Yeah, it's definitely an important issue, and I think it's room for another podcast to talk about the new generation and differences, you know, and as well what they can learn about from the Instagram now and not from being in the hair salons.
Of course,
but we can talk maybe later about it.
So going back, I can finish off. Sorry, I get so sidetracked, but Yeah, so starting back in Australia, I lived in a little town. I worked there after school. And then after working there for about a year, I went to the Big Smoke, what we would call the Big Smoke, Brisbane. 2.5 million people live there.
Okay.
And I worked for a very famous, well-known hairstylist. They had a salon. It was a family business, very into competitions, very hungry to raise the bar, next level, next standard, and I'm absorbing that culture, that competitive, like when you're in a small town, hairdressing is short back and sides, trim along the bottom, cover the grays.
And some perm.
And yeah, definitely. There were some definite perms. But then going to the big city, and it was just a completely different game. From how clean your section was to the next competition you were entering, that's all. And that's where I started to develop my skills. There were some competitions where you would go and you would have 10 minutes to style your hair. And it was the catwalk category. Sometimes it was a surf category. So all different categories where you had 10 minutes to style the hair. And that's where I really fell in love with this more crazy side. Of course, I do my clients every week still. But having this, what can I do with hair? How can I change it? Not only for creativity, but more artistically.
Okay.
And then from that kind of fueled into, on my days off, on my weekends, who can I help? So I would help a hairstylist who was doing a photo shoot. I would travel on my holidays to help some artists I met along the way backstage. And for the first 7 years of this, I'm an apprentice, I'm learning, but I'm just passing up. I'm actually not doing anything except just passing up products. I'm giving you the pins you want. And that was my job. And I kept getting asked back and back because I did it the best. I could understand the people that I was assisting. I could read their minds, and everyone's like, how can you assist so good? And I said, the only way I can assist so good is I'm thinking exactly what they're thinking. Like, I know what the next step is. He's going to need the mousse. He's going to need the pin after that. He's going to need this. So I have all that ready. I have the right brushes ready and the right comb. And that, in that moment, that made me, or that helped me jump to the next level. Being present in the moment and being able to spot the opportunities and capitalizing on those opportunities.
Yeah, I understand. And I already hear out of it that there is a lot of passion.
Oh,
and
yes.
you put a lot of, you love what you do. And this brings us to your skills, like when you work on sessions. Can you tell us how, as a hairdresser, if you are from a Polish town or Australian town, how are you suddenly in Paris, in Milan, in Berlin on a fashion week show?
So I think the main part with that is I grew with a brand. So I invested a lot of time and energy on myself, so my skills were ready. But along that journey, I kind of captured it. So if you go on my social media, I might not have the most followers, but the quality of the content that I post and how I post it, it's very important. It tells a story, I have a theme, and it looks professional. So that's your first look, because people don't know you before this. So that's that first point of contact, having a nice, strong digital footprint that people can use almost as your, I don't want to say signature or portfolio. So people like, okay, this person has a good idea what they're doing. So that really helped me. And when I say growing with a brand, it means that I'm pretty loyal. I've stayed pretty much my life with 2 brands and very happy now to be the last 10, 12 years with Labios Statique. And it's also helped me to grow. But in saying that, I had to be ready for those moments. So if the opportunity presented itself, when I had Labio in my salon in Australia, getting the call, we know you like doing Fashion Week. We've seen you do New York and London, which of course I funded all myself financially. Fly over, get the ticket, find the spot backstage. And it's really hard because it's very much who you know, not what you know in that moment to get you there. But when you're there, it's all about what you can do, how you can do it, how fast you can do it. So that's a huge fact. It all comes together, but I say growing with the brand and also being your own brand within that, you know, and staying loyal. I see a lot of, I don't want to say influencers, but a lot of stylists and normal influencers. Every week it's a different brand. Every week it's a different product that they're promoting. And I feel like that is so transparent now. People can definitely look through and see, this person's just doing it for money, but growing with a brand, growing loyal, and also together. Like I've been in Germany now 8 years. The hair I did 8 years ago is not the hair I do now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm there without the help of La Biostatique, because of these opportunities. And going back to the lab, like I said, I'm 21 years in the job, and every month I try to do a development day. I'm working on at home, mostly doll heads, just to try new technique. What can I do? Is this helpful? Whether it be cuts or color or styling. And even though I do all these huge shows and get backstage, it all comes back to the basics. Like, it's cutting a nice strong line. There's no cutting corners. I'm working on clients every week. I need to stay relevant, and that's how I do it.
Ten program The Culture of Total Beauty jest sponsorowane przez naszą stylizację labioestetyk, idealne produkty, żeby wypielęgnować te włosy, przygotować te włosy, dać im teksturę i zakończyć im pięknym finishem. I tak jesteście przygotowani na piękne stylizacje na co dzień. Should get you working.
I think my hands need to do
Because
something.
I see you're very excited about this, and all what you are saying we want to present to you right now.
All right, let's do
with
it.
some very cool styles, and we will show the people like easy styles to do at home.
Yeah, I want to
Right.
try and just maximize using products and easy techniques that you can have presentable hair without having to get up an hour earlier, perhaps,
Super.
and then some beautiful styles for just going out.
So we have our beautiful Julia coming.
Beautiful Julia, come on down, take a seat here. Perfect. All right. So we just met today, but I'm very happy we just met today. And she speaks very good English. So, first of all, one thing that is most important whenever we're looking at hair, especially too when we're working backstage, most often than not, most of the girls are coming with dry hair. Not clean hair. Sometimes they're coming from other shows, okay? And this is how I think I became so successful working in the salon on clients, but also just thinking on my feet from that adrenaline backstage. You are just going, like it's an aggressive, steep work, and then there's nothing. You have to wait, and then it's like we have 1 hour to finish all the so it's constant, but you have to think on your feet. And I think this is what happened. I saw how much product we were using backstage for these shows, and I thought, why are we using so much product backstage for 10 minutes on the runway, and then the model that sits in my chair or my client is getting maybe a little bit of product that lasts 5 minutes. So that's kind of where I think I differ from everyone else. So just looking here.
So I think you can compare it with the Formula One. When you drive Formula One, the car on the street will be better later on because you can test it.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's exactly right. And I think one of the other things too it's exactly, and I'm a big fan of Formula One, so that works well. But first of all, having a look at it's like a magician's actor. We haven't met before, have we? This is the first time we're meeting. No, so I want to breathe a little bit of life into the hair. It is a little bit fine, but we've got a decent amount of it, but we want to add some nutrients back into it. We need to make sure that it's looking healthy and shiny. I can achieve that easily. So I'm going to prep one side just so we can see how quick and different it is. We'll work in the back here. Quick half section. Clip that out of the way. Put it all at the front. Sorry. And I'm going to just add a little bit of the weightless conditioning oil. It's in the long hair series. It is an oil, and I recommend that whoever's using an oil, it should be blow dried in or applied to wet hair and blow dried in. If you're using a serum, that's a different. It's a lighter consistency and not so heavy. So I don't want to use...
So they just like to sum it up, when you use the oil, always use the hair dryer later on and use it on wet hair.
That's my recommendation. Some oils, people will say it's a little bit different, but I just, especially when you're using a little bit finer hair, I think it's just a cautious way to do it. By using the blow dryer after, you're going to get a much nicer result, okay? It's going to help smooth it down, and that's what's locking in the shine. It's not just the product by itself. Then I'm going to take a large section here, and I can use a variety of products, but I'm going to use a volumizing mousse, and I'm going to apply it straight onto dry hair over the top. Now, a lot of people, I feel, don't use enough product. I think they're scared of it, or they're not as educated. So when you're looking for a hairdresser, it's great you get a good vibe with them, and I think it's good that you get on with them. They might have a good reputation, but make sure you're getting more education from them as well on how to apply, what to do, what styles are really good for me, and how I can recreate it at home. Because sometimes we have an amazing hair appointment, and then our hair never looks so good ever again. And that's not a good job. If that's my job, this is my thing. I live in a small town, south of Germany, and at the moment, and my job is to make sure that the special guests that come to my salon have the best hair in Pforzheim. So when they're walking down the street, I want to make the other people a little bit jealous that they don't get an appointment with me.
They need to know that you're the hairdresser.
They need to know. So is it going to work for them? I'm not too sure. So then I'm just going to quickly use a flat brush and a blow dryer, and I'm just going to quickly dry that off.
Dobrze, tak długo jak Theo teraz suszy włosy, to ja może krótko wyciągnę kwintesencję, co on mówił ze stylizacji. Jeżeli macie ulubionego fryzjera, który robi fantastyczną koloryzację dla was, szukajcie też fryzjera, który oprócz koloryzacji piękniej was też edukuje od strony stylizacji. Że on wam daje 2-3 triki, jak na 2-3 różne dni wystylizować sobie te włosy, jak nakładać ten produkt, ile produkt nakładać, żeby też mieć coś więcej niż tylko tą piękną koloryzację, jak wychodzicie ze salonu, że też jesteście piękni i wystylizowani 2-3 dni, 2 tygodnie po wizycie. I to może być bardzo fajnie, jeżeli wy pytacie waszego fryzjera, co on wam poleci jako produkty do stylizacji, bo on też mówił na sesjach, gdzie on pracuje w Londynu, Nowym Jorku, Mediolanu, w Paryżu. Oni używają mnóstwo produktów dla tych modelek, a widzi w salonach fryzjerskich, że fryzjer używa tylko mało produktu albo tylko jednego produktu i z tego powodu on też zdecydowanie używa więcej produktów do stylizacji dla swoich klientek i modelek, żeby im dać też lepszy komfort i więcej możliwości w domu.
Okay, so as I finish off this last section, 2 large sections, and I just want to point out, I just want to show the difference from applying a little bit of oil and also some nice mousse, volumizing mousse, and you can just see the amount of shine we have. But also the ends are more controlled and they look fuller. I know it's hard to see, but the fullness is also different. And I find a lot of people, even if they have thick hair, sometimes they need more control. And mousse is one of those products that you can really get into the hair and you can change the hair's texture. And this is going to be a lot more easy to control. It's also going to give me a nice foundation that when I'm styling over the top, I have a better chance that the texture that I create is going to hold much better.
Yeah, because people are afraid that they use too much product and then it's too heavy, especially here in Poland.
I think so too, especially on fine hair people, which I can understand, and not every product is going to give you that result. Labiositique's got great volumizing mousse, but also the structure foam. It's a very strong foam that's literally weightless. It never turns oily in the hair. Very great. That's better on, of course, wet hair to blow dry in. But of course, again, you can just see the difference. On the other side, what I might quickly do is just go through with a blow dry spray. Little bit different. Spraying it from root to end, taking the sections that I need, also in the front. And then I'm going to be able to quickly, without any sections, dry that into the hair. And then have a lot more control. It won't be as grippy, but I want to just show how quickly you can tame the hair. So in large sections, just really getting in there, smoothing it down with a flat brush. I'm going to come later and I'm going to add some texture with my curling wand, but I'm not going to spend hours with the round brush if I know I'm coming with it after. Okay? So of course, brushing it all forward, brushing it all back, smoothing it down. Just going to spin you a little bit more. I'm also going to make sure I brush all the hair straight down. This is probably one of the biggest life hacks that any woman can do to control the way that the hair sits around their face. So, blow dry it all directly forward. It's going to give me a lot more options.
Okay.
I can pick the part. I can choose a left or a right side. So, that is. And then I'm going to, with a large brush, I can get all the hair. All the hair. Smooth it down here for the shine. And then the ends to lock in the shine.
Understand.
The good thing too is if I need more product, more blow dry spray or more mousse, I can just easily apply it. That's no problem. I can spray a bit more on, maybe just on this side. It might be nice, just 1 or 2 more, or 3. And then just come over the top again and then just smooth that down. That gives the hair more workability and control.
Super.
One thing too I want to point out with products, something like this, a blow dry spray, it's a large bottle. This indicates to me that I might need to use a bit more than 2 pumps when I'm blow drying to get a result. It's kind of like if you're doing a test in high school and it has a question and your answer has only 1 line or a whole page.
Okay.
If it's a whole page for you to answer, then you have to write more than 1 line or 1 word. So that's something very important. So just very quickly, we've managed to full up the hair. You can see how much more control that is, and also full. Look here in the roots. I've done very little, but it's already starting to look,
And not working with a round brush.
No working with the round brush, but we've still got a nice kind of bend here. We've also got a little bit of root lift but just healthy, just a healthy amount that's going to help. And then you can see by using some weightless conditioning oil, and then of course the blow dry spray on one side or the mousse on the other side, volumizing mousse, we can see. And I think it might be hard to tell, but you can tell here the fullness is much more. Maybe I get you to full, so you can just nod if you agree that the left, no, you have to feel it. You can feel the difference of the fullness of the mousse versus the blow dry spray. So for her hair, if she's at home, I'm using the blow dry, I'm using the volume mousse, because you're going to get a longer result. Okay, so now that the hair's prepped, I need to quickly add some texture. Okay, so of course I'm going to use.
So just to understand, you like to use a hair care product to give some hair care, and then you prepare the product with a mousse or with a blow dry spray, and then now you want to go into the texture.
Of course, that's exactly right. And I think a lot of people, they might do this on day 1. They might go to work, they go home, Netflix, they go to bed, they wake up, and what am I doing? I can quickly refresh what I've just done, or if it's already in a good way or a good shape, then maybe I come through and I just want to bring some more life to it. So it's all about not just thinking about at the hairdresser. When you've got your appointment next time, ask them what else you can do with your hair, not just day one. I need to know, what are you doing tomorrow when you wake up? What are you doing on the second or the third day? Some people have very oily roots. I'm really an advocate for wet looks at the moment. From runway to red carpet, they're everywhere. And it's a strong look. It's a boardroom look. If you're a boss woman, for example, if you're going to a party, if it's an engagement party or it's your birthday, have a nice, strong, wet look, easily achieved, not too much time needed.
Super.
So I'm just going to quickly come through, and with the heat protectant spray, I'm just going to spray it everywhere. You have to shake it well because it's a two-phase product. So that means there's two phases in it. You have to shake it, otherwise you won't be getting as much protection as you should be. Pop that in there. And now I'm just going to come along with my curling wand. I'm going to leave the front pieces out for now. Okay? One thing that is probably the most important is this piece and this piece. Okay, the rest I want to just add some, I said it before, California texture, some cool Venice Beach, some cool Santa Monica. For this, I'm taking really large
We like
sections.
it. It's winter in Poland. We need some.
We need some sun. We need some sun. Let me jump around this side. So I'm going to move around the head, taking large sections like so. And I have to be very careful with the angle of my tool. With understanding that, it's going to be very easy to do it and recreate it yourself at home. I quickly do this side. I always start with the front. If anyone doesn't learn anything else today, I really recommend starting from the front, because half of the battle is cooling the hair down. When the hair is cooled down, I have also a greater chance that the texture is locked in. And if I don't do that, I'm not so confident that the texture that I'm creating is going to last. So I'm coming in on a nice angle. So I'm coming in, so the roots have a little bit more texture. The top section is closer to the roots than the bottom section. I'm just twisting it. I'm holding it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm kind of leaving the ends a bit smooth. Well, you can see with the mousse, we got a nice preparation in the hair. Consistency is always key. Whether you're a hairdresser, whether you're styling it at home, consistency. No shortcuts. If I'm holding this for 5 seconds, every section is 5 seconds. That's how I can guarantee that the texture will be nice and even. A lot of people, they do 1 second, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 7 seconds, and then they've got all different textures, all different dropped out textures, and it's not working as well as it could be. Okay, so that's another important point, consistency. And count it out, 3, 4, 5. I don't want a crazy amount of strong texture. It looks crazy and but this is the first step, okay? That's the first step. The way I finish it is going to also be very important as to how the hair lasts and how it looks, okay? So comb it all together, starting at the front like I like, coming through here on that angle, closer to the top part of my section than the bottom. Let me just do that again. So here we go, right here, twisting it. So you can see I'm closer here than I am down here. And large sections. So if I'm doing it at home, I want to make sure I'm getting it closer to the root. So the texture, when it's done, is going to be not too flat and too voluminous here. So again, and I'm not taking small sections, okay? Keeping the consistency. I like to say how long I'm cooking the hair, but we're not cooking the hair. We have heat protection, so it's okay. Thank God.
So what kind of tools every woman should have at home?
I think every woman should have definitely a good blow dryer. I think every woman should definitely have a straightening iron, and I think they should have, depending on the hair length, this one. It's a 32 millimeter curling wand. I know a lot of women now have extremely long hair, and there are ones that can go even longer. The barrel here is even longer. And so I think that's probably a very good investment. The other thing too is if you're not getting the information from your hairdresser that you need, you can get it from Instagram, like you said. There's tutorials. Some of the things I've learned, some of the coolest hairstyles I show in workshops, I've learned on social media, from Instagram, from someone who wasn't even a hairdresser, which is also quite wild. So that's another interesting thing that I think hairdressers, as a hairdresser, we need to be better at. I can't remember the amount of times I get a phone call, hey, I just got my hair done at a hairdresser for a special styling. It's awful. Do you have time today to fix it? If not, I just have to wash it and do it myself.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart because most of the time I'm traveling, I'm not even home. Of course, I would love to do their hair, make them feel better, but it's just about, we have to really raise our standard, make sure that we're giving them lots of options, we're doing it quickly, and we're making them feel special along the way.
Yeah, a lot of my guests say the same because of the social media and the possibilities for the end consumer. Their skills are better and therefore they need to train more in the salon.
Yeah, it's just also, like I said, it's about staying relevant. I always encourage anybody, whether you're a client or a hairdresser, if you see something that you like on social media, whether it be a styling or a different curl technique, you have to try it that day or that week. Yeah. After that, you'll forget about it. Yeah. And with hairstyling, it might not be as it's definitely trendy. The trends change quicker. Like cutting and coloring, it's more seasonal. Yeah. But for hairstyling, I mean, every week there could be a new trend, and it might be something little. It might be that the texture's a little bit more messier. It might be something else like, leave more hair out. My ponytail is higher. And those little things should be capitalized on straight away.
Yeah, I like what you say, because today on Instagram you see so many different styles, and a woman wants to have a variety of possibilities and not to look the same every day.
I think that's exactly right. And this is why I try and promote to all my clients, don't just use the same product every day. I encourage them, and I have a rule with my clients, especially when I had a salon in Australia. You can have the same cut and the same color, but you're not allowed to leave with the same styling 2 times in a row. And this made it very interesting that they felt like a different person with the same cut and the same color. But also it gave me the opportunity for them to see themselves differently. And also, if they were going somewhere else, they would always get compliments, or they always look different. Even if they were just going to lunch with their friends after, they're like, oh, you did something different with your hair. No, we just curled it today. Last time we blow dried it, next time straight. It just gives people that, wow, look how different I look. And I can't take credit for this saying, but I had a boss in Brisbane, the first one I worked with, who was very into competitions when I started to do my competitions and things. And she was intense. She was a strong boss. She knew what she wanted. I cried a lot, I'm going to be honest. She was very hard. But I learned a lot with her. And she had this saying, and it stuck in my head 21 years later. What you wear starts with your hair. And I think there's not a more true saying with that, because with that, you can really make yourself look like anything. Whether you sleek it back, whether you make it high, more voluminous. It's a very interesting saying. So I like that. Now that I've finished quickly with the texture, we need it to cool down. I'm coming back to the front, and how I curl this will dictate how the whole face shape is looking, the whole style, how it brings it together. And this is because these 2 pieces, like I already mentioned, are the most important, because they sit right here and frame her face. The back is cool. It's not as important as the front. She will see it for 5 minutes, everyone else. But what's the most important is how she sees it. So to get a really nice modern face frame, you saw I blow dried everything forward. Now I'm coming with my curling wand. I'm holding it forward, warming up the root a little bit, and then I'm folding it back on itself, and then I'm turning it. So that extra little step gives me a whole new way of framing the face.
Okay.
The other thing too, when I do it on this side, I'm a right-handed person. If I just stand here, I'm not going to get the hair coming forward like this. If I stay here, it's immediately going to bend. And I want it to be balanced. I want it to be nice. So I have to make sure that I stand in front, I warm up the root, fold it up, twist it, and then I come to the side. And only then will I get a much more balanced face frame. Don't leave it too long because we didn't cook it too long. And then you can see here already that the bends are going to match much better. Now, as you can see, I've just worked around 2, I've done 8. 1, 2, 3, yeah, so 4 on each side,
Yeah.
okay? And then I've also just done the 2 in the front. Once that's cool, this is something that I think every woman should have. I don't know if you can see that wherever that is, but a wide tooth comb. This is one of the most used tools that I use, especially when I'm raking out texture. You can, of course, use brushes and other things. However, try and get a brush that won't have so much tension on your hair. That way we're going to be able to unlock that texture much easier. When you're also doing it at home, or if you're doing it in the salon, make sure the head is right back. We want the hair to fall as natural as possible because that's going to unlock the texture.
Okay. Julia, masz takiego grzebienia? No.
No, not yet.
So, świąteczny
New
prezent.
new purchase. So I put a little bit of glossing spray on my comb, and I do this because I want to make sure that as I go through, I'm not getting any snags, no knots. I want it to comb perfectly through, bring it all the way back. I'm also going to use my hands just a little bit. And as you can see, like we're starting to get this really nice texture, but I didn't cook it for too long. So we're getting nice long, like I said, some Cali Beach waves. The longer I cook the hair, the more.
So only 5 seconds.
Yeah, 5 seconds to get this. If it's thicker hair, I might do 7 or 8 seconds. But if I want it to be extremely strong, I'm looking at maybe 12 seconds, 15 seconds. So this is what we're left with. So always a little tip when the client is then going to be in the mirror and it's at the back. Let me show you the back first. So you can see it's very well balanced. From the root, I'm getting movement. It's not that it's flat and then I have lots of texture here. That's not what I want. I'm making sure I comb the ends a little bit. I might even just use a dab of light defining cream. This is something I think every woman should have in her handbag, gym bag, on next to her toothbrush, because this is a product that it's a superhero product, but it's so misrepresented because it doesn't really do anything. So I can understand the contradiction in people's head. Why am I buying a product? But the superhero product is that, like, I can quickly smooth the ends. Sorry. I can change her shape. I can do a lot, but then in a few minutes, it's like there's nothing in the hair. So like, for example, if I come just on this side and I work it on this, you can see how defined and how closed the ends are while adding shine and definition. And on this side, you can see there's still a few flyaways and my ends are quite separate. So
True.
this is something. And then, of course, when we're going to throw this up later, put it in a high messy bun, slick it back in a ponytail if I'm doing a braid. This product helps to control the hair, but it doesn't overpower it. Okay? So now that she's looking pretty on point, pretty quick, pretty undone, I'm going to come with my 2 fingers from the middle of the back, and then I'm going to open my hands and I'm going to like open it up so she can see how good her hair is looking. She's already smiling sometimes. See, that's the look. I told you. People don't even
How you do
realize.
it? How do you do it, Theo?
Magic hands.
Magic.
But the job's not done then. Now I'm going to come through and I'm just going to comb it up. Also like this too. Just
Yeah.
bring it out. And like I said, it's not perfect, but you can see how strong that face frame is just because I prepped it correctly, but then also did my nice curl technique. The most important thing now is I need to make sure that the hair stays weightless. I need to make sure the best way to do that, not just going with hairspray, that's very traditional. Mattifying grip spray, it's a grip spray. It's one of these all-round products. It can be wet hair, dry hair. It's very good on day 2. It has also some hair cleansing abilities. So if you've got a little bit of oil on day 2 or day 3, it is a little bit watery. So whenever you've built, it dries very fast, but I like to leave nothing to chance. So when I spray this, I like to come straight after and diffuse it. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and it just helps to lock in the grip and this powdery kind of texture, but without losing or compromising the hair. So how does that look like? Let me just jump in here. Shake it very well first, because it's also 2 phases. There's a thick kind of goop at the bottom, I would say. And if you spray it before shaking it, the goop goes up and gets stuck in there. So you have to make sure you shake it very well. And then, perfect. It's a light mist, so close your eyes for me. I want to spray it here. And then straight away, I'm going to come in, not too strong, but quite warm, just to make sure that when I do this, I'm opening it up. Then you can start to see that I've got that ability now to give it even more workability.
Yeah, it's really beautiful to see how many products you use and how you change the style every single time a little bit, and you improve it, you change it. And I think this is a mistake everybody is doing.
I think
you have only 1-2 styling products in the shelf and not knowing
100%.
how to do it, you know?
I think one thing too, people think too much product will make the hair weigh down, but the correct product will only enhance your ability, because we do have fine hair here, but as you can see, I've opened her face. She's glowing right now. And look at the texture we've created. And I don't think it looks oily. I know it's got some shine, but it's definitely not weighed down. If anything, it's looking even better than before we used any products. And I have been generous. It's not like I'm a magician trying to use the secret that no one sees. No, it's exactly what you see. For example, the volumizing mousse. People might use 1 golf ball size in the whole head, where I did it in each section. So 4 big sections, I did 1.5 golf ball sizes. So I think that's only gonna help her, okay? The last thing I'm gonna do is gonna spray up here. I'm gonna get her to close her eyes, and I just wanna spray from underneath as well, not just from the top. So I wanna make sure that this stays open. Close your eyes again for me. I'm spraying from underneath. That helps just lift that up a little bit. And don't forget, we only did 8 sections of curls. And look at all this movement that we've got. A little bit here because it's free. Why not? Not today. But as you can see, we've really just kind of changed who she was. Like, no offense, it was a little bit dull when we walked in and looking fine. It looked fine. But now we've opened her up. It's shaped her face beautifully. She's glowing. We didn't do anything else. And it looks like she has more hair than when she started. And I think that's also the little gift that we can give to people, especially people with fine hair.
Okay, how do you feel, Julia?
Amazing.
We didn't pay her to say that. I think she genuinely feels happy with her hair.
So when I understand, first thing when you use the hair care and then the volumizing mousse, you can have it for day 1. This would be day 2,
Yeah, it
for
could
example.
be day 2. If you were going somewhere special, I might put in the extra effort into day 1. But having a nice blow dry is also very trendy at the moment. Sometimes with a round brush they want it. With a flat brush is also good with the right product. Maybe just some mattifying grip after or something. And then day 2. And then moving on to day 3.
So imagine Julia tomorrow is like sleeping in, no time, needs to go to work.
She's very passionate about work, but she does like sleep. And no, she's up at 5. I don't want to wreck it, but we will. One thing that's very important is the face shape. Everyone knows their face shape. So you've slept in a little bit too long. How can I quickly
I will
manipulate?
make a little bit your hair by.
Okay.
When you-
Smile.
Very good.
So I think the other thing too is you have to understand your face shape. A lot of styles suit the person. It just depends on how they are framing their face, how tall they are, how long their face shape is, how wide. So what we're going to do, we're going to come through here. We're going to do a low ponytail because we had a discussion already. But I don't want it to just be a standard ponytail. I want it to be quite interesting, maybe with a nice kind of, we call it French roll or a French twist into a ponytail. We've got a little bit of texture in the hair, which should look good when here is a bit smooth and here is a little bit more textured. So we're going to come through here, and I'm just going to leave a little bit out at the front. Depending on everyone's hairline, it's going to be different. So I think sometimes less is more, although in some recent trends, it's very modern to have very chunky face framing, but we have a delicate human being here, so we want it to be delicate, okay? So we check here. That's going to be more than enough. Like you can just see pulling that off her face. That's enough to make her still feel like she is herself, but also don't mess with me. I'm the boss. Are you the boss?
She is.
Yeah, okay. Well, no, lucky. I didn't ask that before. So I'm going to come back in. Like I said, every woman should have light defining cream. This is a product that we would use a lot backstage because we can manipulate and control the hair very quickly, but there's no residue. And this is something very also for photo shoots because, you know, you have to quickly change someone's hair, manipulate it, and then they might want it matte. They might want no shine, no residue, no product. So this is something very good. My hands are clear. If you put too much on and it's white and you don't want a lot of product, then that's too much, okay? So coming through, and I'm just kind of slicking this down a little bit so you can see it's easily for me to control. I also think it's not so trendy at the moment that everything is so perfect. So as I'm doing it, maybe I use a wide comb to just bring it all back. Simple things too, like having a part or having no part is also something that can really change someone's appearance. I think though, if you're leaving some hair out around the face, definitely leave a part in there because otherwise it's too weird. It's not a natural kind of thing. So the next kind of little trick that's going to happen, I will get myself ready, comb this in the back, have some little elastics on hand for when the magic happens. I might just use a tiny bit of hairspray too, just to control any last minute hairs that are not behaving. But as you can see, very easy, very simple. Once the hair's prepped, literally you can create anything. And I want to stay here and I want to just twist this around. Oops, I'm a perfectionist, so it has to be good. And it has to be in the middle. So, having a nice low ponytail with just a little twist in it. I'm going to put an elastic in there to help to keep the hair together.
Okay.
Not too tight though, and that's not going to keep the twist, but it keeps the hair together. So then what I do, I hold it in the nape, and I'm coming through, and a lot of people like to open their pins. Now for some techniques that's great. In an area like this, when I have so much hair, and I open it, and I try to push more hair in, it's only going to slide out.
Okay.
And I'm not going to have so much security. So I'm going to keep it closed, and I'm going to come in from the side, and then I'm just going to slide it up into the middle. Okay? Already with one pin, you can see how effective that is. Hope none of that's hurting. I come in from underneath. I do the same thing. Maybe 2 or 3 just to make sure that it's going to hold. Okay, perfect. Let me spray a little bit more. I might even use a baby brush. A lot of people use makeup brushes just to it's not going to make it perfect, but I just want to make sure that it's not too out of the way. I think a huge trend at the moment with women's hair is they like it to look like they've done it themselves. And like I said, This took no effort at all, but all of a sudden you have a much more presentable ponytail. One thing that I will use now, maybe just some powder spray. Powder spray's job is to help expand the hair, give it more grip. So of course, maybe one more pin. Sorry, let me just pop that in there. Something on this side. Okay. So with the powder spray, I might hold here and I'm gonna comb it. Spray it up and down. And now with that grip in the hair, I could just use my fingers to manipulate it, or my comb, and look how much more I can open this up, because that gives me a very grippy, workable texture.
Beautiful.
So it comes together quite nicely. The last little tip that we're going to put here is just to finish off her face frame. Hold this straight and use the same product on both sides. By holding it straight, it allows me to get the product in all of the hair, and it also helps me to take that, keep it full so it doesn't keep turning into a ringlet. Sometimes we see women walking around, they have a ringlet in their hair.
So not using the right product.
They're not using the right product, or they might not be applying it correctly. Like I said, to make sure that product gets in everywhere, you should comb it all straight. Close your eyes for me. Spray it on both sides, and then just use your fingers to manipulate it into the right shape. And then you can see here with a little bit of hairspray just spraying around the face. It's just going to sit, and we're going to have a look from the front now. Maybe we do a full turn. We frame the face very beautifully. She's looking herself. She looks like she's the boss. We've got a nice playful ponytail here that's just a little bit more chic than having a normal ponytail. And that texture that we slept in came to life again with the powder, a little bit of light defining cream, and she's ready to go.
Perfect.
Take that off.
The boss is ready.
And I think the other thing too that people need to realize, it's not all about having a million products. It's about having a collection of products that give you the versatility to do so many different styles. So I need something that I can face frame. I need heat protection, definitely. The light defining cream, you see, it's weightless and effortless. I need something that can give me body. So definitely some sort of mousse or blow dry spray. And then just a few little bits and pieces. It's exactly like makeup. Women will stand up if they want a stronger wing or a different color or more eyebrows or more mascara. They have all these different accessories that they have there, but with hair, it's not there yet. So imagine standing up, seeing something you saw last night. Let me recreate that. Let me do this. I feel different.
We know that Yula has tomorrow an appointment at your hairdresser, so you will definitely ask your hairdresser what he's going to recommend you for styling. You should.
And if he doesn't, you call us.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Julia. It looks beautiful.
So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was quick, it looked easy, and we have 3 styles in 25 minutes, so it's perfect.
I think one thing that people can best take away, a lot of people rely, I think, on the finish. So whatever I do, as long as I use a very strong hairspray, and it might look too much like a helmet, the wind might come, everything moves except my hair. And I think that's not so much hairdressing or modern hairdressing at the moment. Definitely more a foundation product. I would definitely go in. You saw, even if you're running out of time and you didn't wash your hair, something like a volumizing mousse, it's very helpful. Julia does have fine hair. We didn't experience any flaking or any oiliness. It only made the hair fuller, workable. So that's something that I would take away. If you can, when you're purchasing products for your hair, investing in it, because a lot of people are spending a lot of money on their hair, and then they're using products that are probably not doing the best for their color or their hair condition.
I think this is the most important thing, because in today's world, a good hair color and a good haircut costs money, and then the people don't forget to buy good products for styling, to keep the color beautiful, and that the color is looking great after 5-6 weeks.
I think I couldn't have said it better myself. And sometimes I'm also upset that they might buy them, but maybe they weren't shown exactly how to use it or how much to apply. So they've got this very expensive look, but it's hiding under a messy bun every day, or a ponytail, or fill in the blank. You know what I mean? So, I mean, just get into it, try it. And I think people will understand with the right product and also with the right technique. Actually, it's easier than you think. And I think the quicker you style your hair, the more beautiful it is. If you spend a lot of time, and every person listening to this will know this, that if you spend 1 hour doing your hair, there's a good chance that is not gonna look good.
Okay, but you need to train, of course.
You need to train, but if you wake up, a little bit of light defining cream, some mattifying grip spray, throw it up, low ponytail, something in the face, you're having a good hair day, that's for sure. That's exactly right. So that's my last tip. Products that are appropriate for you, that give you versatility, and then just have fun with it. It's hair.
And last question, what do you recommend for men?
For men, I definitely think it's a good topic. For myself, I wear a beanie a lot, but I do have hair. One thing that I recommend is still a prep product. So I would definitely use a foundation product, especially now. You see a lot of these guys with the hair kind of going back. Definitely something to help keep that fullness, and especially some men are getting a bit finer. So a nice mousse or a thickening product, thickening cream, just to kind of get it going. If you're using a thickening cream, it is heat activated with now heat protection in it. So it doesn't work if you're not blow drying it. So make sure you're blow drying it if you're a guy. I also think with men, versatility. A lot of men think it's so final. So you might just use 1 or 2 products. That's it. But if you use a gel one day and do a nice sleek look, you could use a volumizing powder and you got another look. You can then use a gel. I've already said it, but like a paste or a cream, or by changing the texture of the product you're using, you're also getting different looks. And I think that's also cool when you see singers and rap stars in their videos. They normally one day got curly hair, one day got sleek hair, one day, and that's cool too. Why can't we do that? Why can't we be different as well every time we step out of the house? Or if I'm going to a fancy Tinder date on Friday night, I'm going to put a little bit more effort. Why not slick my hair or something a little bit more with a pomade or something?
Okay, cool.
I think just have fun with it. And I think people need to get away. Styling products, especially with our Biostatique, they're open for everyone. I can mix and max and choose. With the hair, the scalp care and the hair care, it's very specific, which is great. But with the styling, just have fun. Try this, try that, do something different. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, you'll find another use for that product. And I think just use a bit more than you would normally, and you'll find that it's even better for you.
Super. Theo, I thank you very much for this perfect, I would say, exercise what you did here. It looked amazing. I think we could give our viewers a little bit more information of how to style the hair at home, how to challenge the own hairdresser.
Of course.
And it's great to have you here. You will stay here for 2 other days. We will train some very good hairdressers on new skills with you.
I'm very excited.
And I'm happy that you are here and with us, and that you did the podcast with us. And we thank you a lot.
I love the setup. It was a pleasure for me. Thanks for having me.
Super. Thank you.